as with everything that we have going on, we have engine problems as usual. Seems to be the common theme every time. So I figured we'd, spend the morning trying to get this thing running. Tried cracking all the lines and everything, and all the normal stuff you do to try to get an engine to run, and it just won't run. But luckily we're not in the water. We can still progress forward on other things. And luckily it's a sailboat. Well, maybe one day we can put an electric engine in this thing. Maybe one day we'll afford to do that. But for now, we have succumbed to be a mechanic. You poor, pitiful thing. Trim around all these hatches, trim around all this stuff, and then just the trim up here on that. And that's it.
You're gonna leave a little bit of a gap. Leave these on, I'll sand the piss out of these.
I am vacuum sanding the floors. We finally got our vacuum sander to work properly. We had to use the belt sander on the floors up there because of the holly strips were sticking up a little bit more. He used the hand plane for most of it, and then to really get the floor nice and flat, he used the belt sander, which kicked up a lot of dust. But we kind of needed to. We also had to use a router, so there was a lot of dust being kicked up, but I vacuumed it up all yesterday. I gotta wipe it down still for corners and things, but we're still gonna be kicking up more dust for the floors, so it just is what it is right now. I'm very grateful that we're not actually living aboard it at the moment. I definitely give huge credit to that spray foam. I think that spray foam was great for this boat. Now, the plastique, we're not sure about. This is kind of a new thing for us. We replaced the cap rails with plastique, hoping for maybe just a little less maintenance than wood. But Pete did notice that it just likes to crack in weird places. So we've had this problem on another sailboat that we had at about the same time we did this together, sort of just to see how this product would react. And definitely gotta say it does crack, so can't say that this is 100% you don't have to work on it. Looks like we're gonna have to work on it again.
We might just fill that with caulking at this point.
That's what I'm saying. I just mean, like, you're always working on your cap rail no matter what. So we're hoping maybe not to have to, but
I think I just tweaked it too much right there.
Yeah, is the other side cracked? Same thing?
You can't tweak it when it's like thin.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Person like that.
This is all kind of a new thing for us, this product. We're not really super familiar with it, but all in all,
I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I gotta say, that's great. I mean, if that's the only thing that happened, I mean, that's just, it's a boat.
I wouldn't recommend it for handrails.
No, not at all.
That's why we went stainless steel handrails.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely not hand. It's not a super strong product. There's no strength to it. It's just more for, you don't have to mess with your cap rails, which is great. So there's something I just want to kind of put out there, because this is, we're also testing this product just to see, how it is. And yeah, so far so good. This is year number 1, I think, of having this on, and that's the first thing that we noticed. For the most part, the caulking is just more to make sure none of the seams get any water penetration or holes for the screws. Really is what the caulking is for the most part. So that seems not a big deal. There's plenty of caulking underneath it. But still, stuff like that sort of happens on this product. Hardtop's doing really good. Looks like the water has drained out perfectly, so no problemos with that. Didn't even Didn't even leave any staining. Like, it totally drained out any water, you know, all summer. The cockpit looked just like this when we came back. Nice and clean. So this thing definitely keeps water out of the cockpit also, which is great. Because that hatch kind of leaks if like gunk gets all in there, you know. And if it's like a dumping thing, it seems like water does kind of work its way into this hatch here. I don't think in this hatch though. It seems like that one's pretty dry, but this must be a typical thing for Seacrafts. And this hatch is dry, gotta say. This was totally dry, which is awesome. Not from Pete, but from that nastiness. Actually, I don't think it's ours because we've raised ours like way up in the air.
Talking about
I think it's that one right there.
Making smells available on YouTube.
Making smells available?
Yeah. Like
oh my gosh.
Smell stuff.
That's hilarious. Well, they'd be smelling some stuff around here.
Yeah, imagine doing polyester and here, get the full effect.
Trim around the hatches. Getting some varnish on all the wood pieces that are outside. I varnished that piece in the very front up there, and varnished back there on the is adjusting the engine for the shaft right now. So now we'll have the engine adjusted.
Well, until we supposed to do it one more time once you got in the water, but it's really close.
Pete gets the honors of putting the first coat on.
Oh, I'm so honored.
I knew you'd hate it. I knew you'd hate that I'm filming it. Making a key switch tube. We had a part of Norna's old. Was this the yard arm or the mast? I think this is the yard, wasn't it? Yeah, that's a piece of Norna's yard that had rotted, and it only rotted on the end pieces. Like the middle piece is pretty good actually. But we ended up building a new yard anyway and keeping this piece of Norna's yard. And Pete needed a wood tube to make a key switch so that we could reach in through the cockpit and switch the engine on. So, fun times. He probably hates that I'm filming this because it's just sloppy work, but this is kind of the stuff that you can be sloppy with because nobody sees it. As long as it's strong, which he's using epoxy, so it's not going nowhere, man. I will say, being a writer and also a person who types very quickly, I am not a huge fan of the autocorrect, and I know a lot of people say this, but I'm going to explain why I think so. Is because sometimes when you're typing fast, you make mistakes. So you go back to delete them, but then you realize that the mistake has been fixed. So it's kind of weird. It's like this weird thing where you're used to just typing super fast, and the mistakes are fixed for you, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're like wrongly fixed, where it doesn't do a correct word anyway. Even it tries to think about what word you're trying to type. So then it messes you up too, because you're trying to have a flow with typing, and if you mess up, you can just press the backspace and start over, instead of it sort of trying to fix it for you, and you go back and have to delete a totally different word that you had just typed. Anyways, so that's my little mantra about autocorrect.